the lawyer for two union officials who had blackmail charges against them, sensationally dropped, has labeled the outcome a win for workers, as government ministers defend the legacy of the Trade Union Royal Commission. Reardon said on Wednesday the decision by prosecutors to abandon charges against construction, forestry, mining and energy union (CFMEU) leaders Setka and Shaun Reardon further shredded the credibility of the Royal Commission and construction company Boral, which accused the men of wrongdoing. Senator Cash said the Royal Commission's purpose went beyond referrals for criminal investigations, such as restoring the Australian Building and Construction Commission (ABCC). The CFMEU are without doubt one of the most notorious, in fact, they are the most notorious union in Australia. I think we are up to about $14 million in fines, she said. I recall, I think they're also Bill Shorten's biggest backer, and a vote for Bill Shorten won't be a vote for Bill for the Lodge, as we know, it will be a vote to install the CFMEU in the Lodge, so absolutely not. Australian Council of Trade Unions Secretary Sally McManus said the government had serious questions to answer after the charges were dropped. Were they involved in trumping up charges to jail union leaders for 15 years for fighting for safety? Ms. McManus said in a tweet. Prosecutors finally dropped the charges against the men on Wednesday midway through a pre-trial committal hearing in Melbourne Magistrates Court. Labour Deputy Leader Tanya Plibersek described the Royal Commission as a politically motivated witch hunt. The government were so keen to do the Trade Union Royal Commission, hoping that it would take some paint off their political opponents. This is the government that insisted that Royal Commission was more important than the Banking Royal Commission. Speaking outside court and surrounded by supporters, Mr. Setka also accused the government of a witch hunt. We know for a fact, and the evidence has come out, that it was a witch hunt, he said. Mr. Setka also thanked his lawyers and reasserted his innocence. Our job is to make sure that workers go home to their families, Mr. Setka said Wednesday of the Boral meeting. That was what we were trying to do. The meeting in question at North Melbourne's Auction Rooms Cafe was called by Boral in the hope the union would lift a black ban on its cement deliveries. At the time of the meeting, the CFMEU was waging industrial war against building giant Grocon, which Boral supplied with cement. Details of the meeting emerged as Mr. Dalton gave evidence during Mr. Setka and Mr. Reardon's committal hearing, which was to determine if there was enough evidence to send them to trial. The Registered Organizations Commission, which regulates unions and employer groups, received a $8 million funding boost in last week's budget with AAP.